प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य राम राम हरे हरे मुखम करोति वाचालम पंगुम लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्री गुरुं दीनतारिणे हरे कृष्णा. So today we'll see verse number 19 of chapter 15. So Krishna, after explaining about the three levels of understanding and also how his position is supreme as Purushottama. Now Krishna explains in the next verses, if somebody realizes his real position, how that yogi will react or what he does, or what is the effect of realizing his supreme position as Purushottama above all the living beings. Okay, so that is explaining this verse. Yo mam evam asa mudho
Yo mam evam asamudho
janati purushottamah
janati purushottamam
mam purushottamam sa sarva vid bhajati mam
sa sarvavid bhajati mam
sarva bhavena bharata.
sarva bhavena bharata.
Okay, please stand.
Yo mam evam asamudho janati purushottamam mam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata.
यो माम् एवम् असम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत.
Okay, so translation and purport. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. Okay. Purport. There are many philosophical speculations about the constitutional position of living entities and the Supreme Absolute Truth. Now, in this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead clearly explains that anyone who knows Lord Krishna to be the Supreme Person is actually the knower of everything. The imperfect knower goes on simply speculating about the absolute truth, but the perfect knower, without wasting his valuable time, engages directly in Krishna's consciousness, the devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Throughout the whole of Bhagavad Gita, this fact is being stressed at every step, and still there are so many stubborn commentators of Bhagavad Gita who consider Supreme Absolute Truth and the living entities to be one and the same. Vedic knowledge is called Shruti, learning by oral reception. One should actually receive the Vedic message from authorities like Krishna and his representatives. Here, Krishna distinguishes everything very nicely. One should hear from this source. Simply to hear like the horse is not sufficient. One must be able to understand what from the authorities. It is not that one should simply speculate academically. One should submissively hear from Bhagavad Gita that these living entities are always subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who is able to understand this, according to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna knows the purpose of Vedas. No one else knows the purpose of Vedas. The word bhajati is very significant. In many places, the word bhajati is expressed in relationship with the service of the Supreme Lord. If a person is engaged in full Krishna consciousness in devotional service of the Lord, it is to be understood that he has understood all the Vedic knowledge. In the Vaishnava Parampara, it is said that if one engages in devotional service of Krishna, then there is no need for any other spiritual progress for understanding the Supreme Absolute Truth. He has already come to the point because he is engaged in devotional service of the Lord. He has ended all preliminary processes of understanding. But if anyone, after speculating for hundreds and thousands of life, does not come to the point of that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God, and that one has to surrender there, all his speculation for so many years and lives is useless waste of time. Very strong and direct purport. It's this is how Srila Prabhupada used to preach, very straightforward and direct. So Srila Prabhupada gives overall picture like what is the effect of not realizing the absolute truth. So Krishna in the 15th verse explained that he is the purpose of Vedas. All the Vedas are meant so that everybody reach to this understanding, that who is the Supreme Person. So one who understands this, asamudo means without a doubt, that Krishna is the Purushottama, then he will bhajati, he will serve because of the perfect knowledge. And how he serves? Sarva bhavena means come from the bhava, and with all respects he serves Krishna, because this is the highest realization. And when we actually accept these without a doubt, is very important. Because when we accept anything without a doubt, then our heart, our mind, our body, our intelligence, everything surrenders to that thing. So you can practically also we can see these examples, like not spiritual, but at gross level also we can see. If somebody accepts something, some book or some yogic routine or some diet routine, this is the perfect one, then what they do, they forget everything else and they just follow that diet plan or that exercise plan to reduce weight, for example, or gain weight. Just for example, I'm very cross example, cannot be compared with what Krishna is saying, but at least I am just trying to give the example to understand our way of thinking and how our intelligence works. So if we are not 100% surrendering to Krishna, then there must be some, not exactly doubts, but there must be some other priorities that we keep in our life. And of course we have. Sometimes our family becomes priority, sometimes our health becomes, sometimes our own thought process becomes priority. That happens. And Krishna also acknowledges that. So he's saying that whoever knows without a doubt, he will completely surrender and he will completely do the devotional service to me. So this may happen immediately, this may happen after several lifetimes. But as per Srila Prabhupada's, there is one famous video where Srila Prabhupada says like surrender requires only your determination. It can happen at any point of time. It can happen in 1 second also, where you give up everything and you just surrender. So it's like the relationship is here that we have to accept Krishna without any doubt. How we can understand that we have doubt or we are not 100% as per my understanding, when we try to control the things in our way, many times it happens that we are not happy with whatever happening or whatever happening with us or around us, and then we try to control the situation by ourselves. So instead of seeing the overall picture or the hand of God in that, we try to manipulate the situations. Whereas actually in that situation, we can accept the things, but we still don't. Or it becomes difficult for us to accept the things also. So this is one way I can understand that, okay, I am not 100% surrendered. I still try to have, I still have my own priorities, my own thoughts, my own, will not beliefs, but priorities. So this has to go. So that is the reason we are doing this sadhana bhakti. Is the process of bhakti, is practice of bhakti, by which way the more we understand about the Supreme Lord, the more we want to surrender. And the more we understand our own position, that how much helpless or how much clueless we are in this material world. But it may take time, it may take several births also to understand this. Because of this minute freedom that we have, the free will, we try to exercise it, and that creates a problem. So, but Krishna is, that's why Krishna is saying without a doubt. So that's a stage of pure devotional. And the pure devotees, they don't have any doubt about the Krishna's power, Krishna's intelligence, Krishna's arrangement. They know it's everything is perfect. So they are completely surrender, and then they do bhajati ma, then they do the devotional service with sarva bhavena, with everything they have. So this is actually the purpose of human life, to surrender to the Supreme Lord, who are Purushottama, who is the best of the person. So we should try to achieve this. We should, and when we are doing this sadhana bhakti, we are reading Bhagavad Gita, we are reading Bhagavatam, we are doing chanting, we are going to temple, we are taking darshan, we are taking prasadam. All this is a part of bhakti, sadhana bhakti, so that we um, develop in our heart that attachment to Krishna, and that, so that the priority becomes Krishna. So here Krishna is, of course, he has explained that he is the Purushottam. So this chapter is called Purushottam Yoga. So you have to connect with the best of the persons. So when somebody says like, what type of friend you will like, or what type of brother you will like, what type of husband you will have like to have. So everybody will say like, oh, I want my friend to be most powerful, most beautiful, most intelligent, most famous, most rich. So generally we try to have this type of people around us. But Krishna says, but Krishna is the topmost of everything. And Krishna is also close to us as Paramatma. So he's there, but still we don't completely recognize it. Of course, recognizing presence of Krishna and trying to understand Krishna, trying to understand the bhakti process itself is a path towards the perfection. So if we are reading Bhagavad Gita every day, we are trying to apply the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, we are already on the path to achieve the perfection. It may come now or sometimes later, some lifetimes afterwards, depending on our desire. The more desire we have and the more doubts we remove from our heart and mind, the more the surrender will be easy. And then we will actually can do the bhava bhakti, what we say, from the heart. So this is a perfectional stage that Krishna is explaining. And also in this, like, even if you understand, the point is like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, like, even if you understand, okay, Krishna is the perfect person and you should do this worship, other peoples may not understand it, or other people may not recognize Krishna as the supreme person. But Krishna says, you don't have to worry about them. If you are without a doubt, let them doubt. If you are without a doubt, you do bhakti. Of course, if Krishna says in whatever situation you do bhakti, that is the best thing. But if somebody don't want to do bhakti, we should not try to enforce our understandings. We try to teach, we try to help them, but we cannot enforce them, because Krishna has given free will and that they will exercise. So the surrender has to come from free will. So by my will, I voluntarily surrender everything to Krishna. This has to come from ourselves. We cannot force on anyone. So we try But that should not impact our own sadhana or our own faith. But care should be always taken to avoid that impact on us. So Krishna says, okay, you don't have to worry about them. You try, if not, but you do your bhakti. You continue on your path because you already understood what is the reality. So that is more important. So next verse, I think, is the last verse of this chapter. So 12th chapter and this chapter, the smallest chapters, but very important chapter, because this is Purushottam Yoga and 12th chapter is the Bhakti Yoga. So where actually the complete goal of Bhakti or perfection of Bhakti is explained. So in the next verse, actually Krishna concludes this chapter, and very interesting words tomorrow also, that Krishna again tells Arjuna that I have explained you this very secret knowledge, and that is what we have seen today. Okay, so we'll see the next verse, the last verse of this chapter tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So any comments, any additions, questions, points anybody would like to add?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Regarding if someone, like, consciousness matters. So if someone is some devotee, they are doing everything, like whether it's like earning something or taking care of family or anything. If someone is doing everything, saying like it's a service for Krishna, then it comes in Mishra Bhakti or it's pure devotional service?
It depends on like you said, like consciousness and intentions, because it's also a part of our dharma, right? If I am a grahastha, I have to take care of my family, and of course, along with that, if I am doing that as my responsibility given to me by Krishna, so my wife or my son, my husband, parents, they are given to me by Krishna, so I have to take best care of them for Krishna. That type of consciousness and intentions, of course, it will go to bhakti, because it's also as per your dharma, right? Varnashram dharma, as a grahastha, what you are doing. So that's on the path of pure bhakti. It will reach there ultimately. At this stage, it may not look like, because our intentions may not be pure always. Yeah, so, but the path will lead there because of Krishna's remembrance.
Okay, and if the same thing, like same example, if we ask in Mishra Bhakti, then what could be the example in that?
Like I am earning money, right? So I use that money for my enjoyment also. Of course, I use for Krishna also, and I use for myself also. So I'm not talking about the saving. Okay, saving, Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami also say they also kept money for their safety, but not that one. I'm saying if I do something for my own desires or own gratification, that will become Mishra, because I use opportunity for myself, my desires, to fulfill my desires. I think that time it will become Mishra. Some Krishna, some for me also, like that.
Understood. But you said that ultimately at the end it will lead to like pure consciousness, because
Yes,
Krishna is, we are remembering Krishna.
yes, yes. See, Krishna also understands that you cannot become pure in one day. That's why he tells in Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga also, everything. And he tells everybody will, 18th chapter also he will tell, everybody will reach to me if they follow that process correctly. That I think you also have finished the 18th chapter, right? In Bhakti Shastras. There he tells that, yeah, ultimately you do your dharma but you do it in correct consciousness, you will reach the perfection. So that's what I am actually saying. It's nothing like that's Krishna's promise. So,
But ultimately, Krishna is saying in 18th chapter, like that the famous verse, Sarvadharman thing. So
yeah, but
I
not
always get confused.
yeah, but it's not possible for everyone to do that. Sarva dharman parityaja. It's correct, but we should be ready for that, at least mentally, intellectually, and consciously. So then Arjuna never gave up anything, right? So he surrendered completely to the Krishna's will. Plus, he was Kshatriya. He did his dharma as a Kshatriya till the end of his life. Right? So he was in his ashram, and he was in his varna, but he was completely surrendered internally to Krishna's will. So that is more important than external things, I think. That's how the examples of the acharyas also, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and everybody we see, that they were in their ashram and dharma, but they were completely surrendered from their heart and mind and soul. That is what Krishna is saying.
Understood. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for clarifying. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks for the questions. Any other questions, doubts? Because we should be without any doubt. Asamudho. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Krishna, thank you so much for the valuable information. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thanks for joining. Hare Krishna.